everyone, and thank you for choosing to be here. Today I'm presenting a piece on what kind of exerciser are you? And so I decided to have it as a question. The paper explores the relationship between the environment that people exercise in and the reasons that people exercise for. However, after looking at this, I thought that it would be very interesting to have the title as a question for all of you, because this impacts each one of us in our daily lives. Given that we've just gone through 2 sessions and this is a piece about exercise, I'm gonna make you guys just do a little movement. I promise you won't sweat because you're all in your professional attire, but please stand up. I had a little breathing exercise going, but we have a full room, so we're not doing that. And I just want you to shake off your arms, your legs, breathe in, out, and I hope that helped the caffeine kick in a little bit, and we'll get started. So I worked on this piece with Dr. Sarah Chamou from Harrisburg University of Science and Technology, and this is within my Master's of Analytics that I actually complete very soon. And so I want to give you a little background on how this research came to be. So I personally identify as an exerciser. I work out pretty often, I compete, and I feel like I'm really good with how my body looks. I don't have any issues with that. I one day went with one of my friends to a commercial gym, so in LA Fitness. I got in and I immediately felt really bad about my body. It's like, I need to get into a diet, I need to drop weight, I need to lose fat around my arms, whatever. And after leaving, that just stuck with me. And I was like, why did that environment make me feel that way, knowing that I exercise almost every day, and I never think of how I look when I'm exercising. And so there must be a relationship with the environment and the place where that exercise is delivered, how is it delivered, and how we feel about ourselves and our bodies. And so the objectives were understanding the different reasons that motivate people to exercise, find out how exercise environments and reasons to exercise interact, and explore the relationship between reasons for exercise, mental health, the development of eating disorders, and body objectifications. And so the hypothesis was that there are aspects in the delivery of physical exercise that can impact reasons for exercise, which then harms or benefits the individual's self-perception and overall quality of life. Now, this is something that we all know. We know that yes, if the delivery of exercise could impact the way you see exercise and the way you look at your body. However, I wanted to see if there were specific profiles, if there were things that we could see that could help make nudges that could push the public to actually exercise for the right reasons. Because exercise could either be good, I mean, it is good for you, but then if you are, according to the literature, there are 2 camps. So the first camp is people who exercise for looks, and so that's thinking of, you are at a grocery store, you see a bunch of magazines, all of them have the titles of lose 10 pounds before summer, start keto to lose 5 pounds of fat, eat sugar without feeling guilty, and it's like, why do we even have to feel that? And so the fitness industry benefits from all of us exercising to look good. And this was, I think I mentioned it to you a couple of days ago, but I was talking to someone about my paper on Wednesday, and I was like, yeah, I'm exploring the reasons why people exercise. She was like, oh, to look good? And I was like, yeah, that is exactly why I'm doing all of this, because it's not to look good. Yes, it does help, and that's not really the goal of it, but it is to help you enjoy your life. It should be part of day-to-day life, and it shouldn't have an appearance-focused purpose. And so I'm just gonna go through this because we're out of time a little, but there's a cycle that I want you to focus on, which starts with the exposure to social cues. So we are all exposed to social cues through social media, so go onto Instagram, Facebook, whatever, and you'll see this super fit fitness influencer that makes you feel bad about yourself and you wanna get into a diet, or you start planning a vacation and the first thing you think of is a diet or hitting the gym longer. And so the exposure to social cues, actually last weekend I was in New York and I was walking by Times Square, and this is exactly what is wrong with the fitness industry. This is why it is so frustrating and it gets us. This was a huge ad in Times Square, so think about how much they paid for that. And that tells you, you all know, that if they pay for this, then it's making them so much money. So how much is this making a lot of people miserable? It's associating fat and lazy with a person that is not even looking face to us, and then the website is called Get Your Sparkle Back Girl. Like how bad is this? It's so frustrating. And so this is part of that cycle where we are exposed to these social cues. We are congratulated for losing weight. We are pushed to be on a diet, and we take that as a badge of honor that we've lost 10 pounds or 15 pounds or whatever. And so the exposure to those social cues puts us to internalize the body ideals. So if right now I tell you to think of a fit person or a successful person at a movie or a show, you'll automatically think of, if you thought of a woman, you'll think of a lean, toned woman, but she doesn't have to be muscly because that's bad for women. Or if it's a man, he has to have some muscle, also not too much, but also no fat. And those are usually associated with being successful, having a good family life, and like the perfect life. And so these take us to make interventions to enhance the way we look. And so that takes to the development of eating disorders and body dysmorphia. And this is where this gets dangerous. We all know that diets don't work. You read any piece of literature, everything proves over and over that diets don't work. You start the first diet, you lose 10 pounds, you're happy, you gain 12 pounds in 3 months. Then you want to lose now 14 pounds, then you gain 16 pounds later. 10 years later, you're stuck with 20 pounds that you only needed to lose 10 at the very beginning. So this cycle gets people to develop eating disorders, getting into mental health problems. And so all of this has been very, very much proved in the literature review. There are so many papers that talk about this. And the problem is that it's not getting picked up by the industry. And so I think that the gap is, I wanted to explore, so it's more of like finding a beginning point to find how can we help change this whole narrative. How can we use marketing, use the same social media, the same influencers and all of that to change the view that we have on exercise. And so the gap, in my opinion, was that there is one concept, one segment, and there's no general exploratory research. So the data was collected through a survey that I developed containing all these constructs, and the goal is to find different profiles that contain elements from each one of these constructs. So we had exercise behavior. The questions were, what was the person's experience exercise-wise? What was the type of exercise that they did? So was it like a team exercise, like soccer, football, or was it running alone, or running with a partner? Did they work out at home, at a gym? Did the gym have mirrors? What was the frequency? Did they work out once a week, twice a week, more than that, once a month? And then the reasons for exercise, so was it to control appearance, weight, for fitness and health reasons, to elevate stress? Exercise environment was where did they exercise and with who? And then self-objectification and the drive for thinness was measured through items that asked questions like, I skip meals to look a certain way even if I might be hungry, and those were measured on a 5-item Likert scale. And then the last thing was demographics. So the limitations is that the constructs are complex and they have very high subjectivity. So if one person thinks that they are fat, maybe another person doesn't think that, or a person works out more, another person doesn't think that. So it's very subjective. And so the participants, I was able to use my own personal network, so through LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. I collected about 300 responses, and my participants, and I ended up retaining about 180 just to remove all the stuff that were not complete drops because the survey was a little bit long. So participants, I had about 95% that actually work out. On average, about 60% were aged between 30 and 60 years old. Between 25 and 40 years old. The workout session was on average between 30 minutes and 60 minutes. And these people worked out within once to twice a week, but not more. It was a split of 60% female, 40% male. And then the country of residency was all over, but with 60% US, 18 Morocco, that's where I'm from, 10% from France, and then the rest was around a bunch of other countries. And so I ran an EFA to explore this, to kind of give me a starting point for my next research and where I want to take this. I ended up going with an orthogonal rotation. My RMC was 0.56 and then a TLI of 0.856. I ended up retaining 7 factors, which gave me the highest number of loadings per the items that I ended up retaining. And I'll go over this in the factors. So I had 7 profiles. Each one of these profiles I named something differently based on the items that loaded. And so we had some that were positive, some that were in between, and some that showed a clear relationship to body image issues. So the first one was the social athlete. So that's a person that exercises in person within a class setting with other people. The type of exercise that loaded on this was CrossFit. And these are people that exercise for social reasons. They want to make new friendships and they want to maintain old ones. So this goes with the literature where it is positive to exercise for social reasons. The next one I call the clarity seeker. And so that's a person that exercises to relieve the tension and stress from their daily life. They exercise to improve mental performance. And this profile loaded on literally every model that I tried. I tried so many to try to find the one that fits the best. Every type of rotation, anything, it was just these 2 items. So there's a clear relationship where people actually exercise for clarity, to seek clarity. And then there was one in between that I called the bro, and that's the person that exercises. So the frequency of exercise was pretty high. They worked out to improve the way they perceive their body, but also to increase fitness levels. And there's your weightlifting bro. They exercise at a commercial gym, and weightlifting was the exercise that correlated the most with this. And then the different body image experiencers. So the first one was the self-worth exercisers. So that was the items that loaded here were people that worry about the way they look to other people. They compare the way they look with other people. They exercise to improve their self-esteem. And then they want to build an identity as an exerciser. So we can see here that these people try to build this identity as an exerciser and solidify that by comparing the way they look to other people, by improving their and thinking that that is going to improve their self-esteem. So there's a very big psychological component in here. Next was one where I thought was very interesting and also very much validated a lot of what we see, which is the person that focuses on weight. Exercise here is only a reason to lose weight and control weight. And so the items that loaded were some that I thought was very interesting was, I think I would be happier if I achieve my ideal body weight, which sadly, like it's hard to negate because we all think that, but that is not true. Like people think that they will reach a certain body type and then that's it, life is gonna get better, but then again, you gain that weight again, lose it, and then it becomes a very bad vicious cycle. These are people that diet before a vacation or a major social event, and then they tend to extend their exercise duration to burn calories, so there's a guilt effect in here. If a person eats a calorie-dense food, they're gonna tend to like stay at the gym for 2 hours, or maybe work out twice that day, or restrict the next week. And so another aspect with guilt was when I can't control my weight, I feel like something must be wrong with me. This one came from social media, so there's this very popular hashtag called Fitspiration, and that's a combination of the words fitness and inspiration. So this is the Fitspired. This is the person that follows diets suggested by social media influencers. We all know how little credentials social media influencers have in the fitness industry. However, they reach the most amount of people. So this, I think, is a very big problem with the mainstream fitness industry. These are people that skip meals to look a certain way, even if they are hungry, so there are unhealthy behaviors in here. They follow programs developed by social media influencers, and then they would be ashamed if people knew what they really weighted. And I thought it was interesting that this loaded here, but not on the weight profile. And so there's another component that was very prevalent in the literature review, which is following exercises that have a duration. So a 6 weeks body transformation, or a bikini beach body, or all those kind of fitness fads that people follow for a certain purpose, for a limited amount of time. And so there was a factor that I think this is going to be the base for my next research. This I found very intriguing. So both of these loaded, as in a person said that there's a free will, so they can wage whatever they want if they try hard. They think they can look pretty much however they want if they're willing to work at it. But they also state that the way their body feels is more important than the way their body looks. And they also think that it's more important that their body, that they feel comfortable, that then the clothes look good. And I think that this is intriguing because there's two contradicting views. So these people internalize the idea that if you are fit or if you are exercising, then you will look a certain way. So that means that if you exercise, you have to look a certain way. You can look however you want. There's that free will in it. Research shows again that is not everyone can have a certain one body type. So there's this perception that has been internalized, an idea that has been internalized. However, these people did not correlate with any kind of exercise. So they do not exercise, and they think that the way their body feels is more important. So they decided that I value comfort. I think my body I should feel comfortable and I should have a comfortable life. So I'm not going to exercise because exercise is only to look good. And I think that this is the narrative that I would like to change and kind of like work in this area to help with this. And just to wrap up, because we're over time, I kind of put them on a framework that puts reasons for exercise and body image. So if we are exercising for quality of life or appearance, so those go on the two ends of the spectrum. And then whether your body image is positive or negative, that's also two ends of the spectrum. And we kind of want to be in this area. So that's where you're exercising for your quality of life. Exercise should be a very enjoyable time. It should be a time where you're going and torturing yourself to reach a certain amount of calories. You shouldn't go to weight yourself every morning. It should be a very fun time. You release stress, you meet friends, you improve your performance, all that kind of stuff. And it should not come with a negative body image. It should bring a positive body image. So yeah, that was it for me. And I don't know if we have time for any discussions, but I would love to. Also find me later. I would love to talk about this. I cannot shut up about this subject. So yeah, thank you.
Questions for Sandra? We'll wait till after the last